A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving us with a ton of extra My Pillows. But you know what? That's their loss. I'm going to make it your gain. For the first time ever, you get standard classic My Pillows for wholesale prices, only $14.88. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, I'm going to offer my entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Upgrade to a queen size My Pillow for just $18.88. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use My Pillows for only $9.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever on TV, including my standard size My Pillow, only $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. We have limited quantities at this price, so limit's going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone.
With breaking news and political commentary from a public servant, serial entrepreneur, community leader, philanthropist, and American patriot, and a darn nice guy, it's time for the GrassRoots TruthCast and your host, Gene Valentino.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. Welcome back to another episode on Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast. This is episode number 9. We're with Nanda Baghi, an American, but of Eastern Indian descent, but more American, more patriotic, more committed than many that sit on the couch eating bombs watching The View. We're going to talk now about the battleground states, those issues, the demographics, the policies, and what would be Nandi's wish list on how he sees this all developing. Nanda, thank you for joining me here today on GrassRoots TruthCast. We've been speaking on several episodes, and I'm so honored to have you with me. I just wanted to take a moment to say that first. You know, it's hard to nail someone down for this length of time with your experience and background, your exposure to Donald Trump and the Trump campaign team. You come to us as an immigrant from the wonderful country of India, much larger than the United States of America, and one of the strong Eastern democracies in the East. You came to the United States with your family just less than 20 years ago, and you became an engineer, an IT technology expert. You went in and out of different Fortune 500 companies with your expertise. You are a capitalist, you're a venture capitalist, having invested in so many different things. And I hate to pigeonhole you on one issue you've been involved in. You delivered many IT solutions to many industries. And I can't thank you enough for being an American and contributing. You know, every one of us contributes in different ways. And that's what makes it so beautiful. We're a nation of immigrants, and we're all so diverse. Other 150 plus nations in the world are each with their own cultures and experiences, but none of them as diverse as us and as tolerant as us in allowing for such diversity to take place. From the political side, we talked earlier about how our nation now has to step up and protect itself. And you've stepped up. I've met you at CPAC, the Political Action Committee group nationwide, and it was a very conservative group where I met you at the Gaylord Hotel in National Harbor about 8 months ago. You're involved in so many different things on so many levels. I just hate to pigeonhole you with one categorization, and for that you should be complimented. Many people don't understand it. You don't want to see Nanda's resume, it's too long. He's a pretty good guy. Just listen to what he has to say. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the battleground states in politics, the demographics, the policies, and what we should be focusing on now to help Donald Trump get elected in these key states. Nanda, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Gene. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here again. So the battleground states, are in the range of 7 or maximum 9, but we can The minimum is 2 or 3, mainly Pennsylvania, Arizona, because most of the states, if you look at 50 states and more than 80% are one-sided, that means very low chance of flipping a state. But in this current situation, I would be surprised if President Trump cannot flip all 50 states. The reason I'm saying is based on data, based on the past history of American elections. So if you remember 1981, when President Reagan was running for election, he was shot, I think, less than 60 days before the election. But he has flipped 49 out of 50 states in favor of Republican Party and in favor of his win. So I see similar trend, even though the mainstream media has got different polls, different things. But President Trump has the best chance to flip all 50 states. Again, the voting is one part, but there is on top of the voting, there is electorals who can do whatever they believe
And what
in the
would you
best.
say? What would you say would interfere or block this from happening? What sort of subversive behavior could affect this, Nanda?
Yeah, the thing is, if you look at 1981 to now, it was a one-day election with a in presence checking the ID, and if people have some emergency, some kind of a health condition, there is a mail-in voting. So, but what has changed from 81 to 2024 is now we have almost 50 plus 45 plus days of election. So that means people can do the ballot harvesting, and there is no way to check if somebody has cast a ballot because nobody is checking the ID, because it's a fundamental US Constitution Amendment 15, only legal citizens can vote. And I do not even understand a party which has 209 US congressmen. Out of 209, 198 has voted against this fundamental constitutional amendment number 15. So, for that one reason, you can go after and put all DOG, all kinds of government machinery, and go after these 198 people, which of course not happening. So the only way now is all these 198 people, their district representation, the people in the district must vote them out because they acted unconstitutional, according to me, because they violated their right to represent the people, and which comes first is protecting the people interest and constitution, which they failed at both levels. And these battleground states, like I said, there are 7 states, and each state has a different demographics. But at the end, we need to look at a 10-dimension approach, look at the issues of each battleground state, and create a policy and promise a policy. But before you create, first you need to win the election. So first you address that issues. In each state, there will be 10 issues related to that state. So identify the 10 issues of that state and then come up with a solution and come up with a plan to implement that. And that should be the talk in these battleground state rallies, not going after some personal attacks, not going after something which is irrelevant. Just focus on 10 points. What is the state 10 issues? Can I fix it? If I can fix it, what is the plan in 4 years? Simple. And for that battleground, my wish list is I want to create this artificial intelligence AI based multi-sport complex with music arena in each of these. I would wish to have in all major cities across 50 states, but obviously instead of taking a target of 50 states, I would like to start with the 7 battleground states and create a multi-sport complex with an auditorium, with all high-tech equipment, which will create enough global attention and enough global sports participating every month. We have 12 months. Every month, sport can have their World Cup, true World Cup in this location, and you have 7 locations. And obviously, government need to support by giving discount or free lands, and instead of spending 66 billion on illegals, they can put $6 billion for these 7 states. I can make it happen. Not only the project launch, but it can pay enough taxes and enough thing to address our national debt also, and create more communities which are safe and more communities which are united with sports and music, and agree or give their opinions on the policies. And again, there is no perfect formula to fix everything in battleground states, but at
Well,
least we should know.
yeah, it is true that populations have drifted into key states or key regions of the nation. You refer to it as the seven battleground states. That is true. If you look at the map, you'll see that the entire all states in the nation are painted red for Republican, but there's 15 to 20 sanctuary city areas, intense areas of blue, which these Democrat, liberal, left leaning folks have welcomed, now to their regret. They're welcoming all these migrants, illegal immigrants, to come in, and they're looking for a bailout now to solve a much deeper problem, which they refuse they created. So, in terms of the wish list and the demographics nationwide, does a Donald Trump and a Republican administration focus on those 15 Democrat regions of the nation and fix them? Or do we turn our cheek and look the other way, regardless of red or blue, and take care of our nation as we should? What do you think?
So, yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. So, again, in these battleground states, there'll be 10 categories or 10 types of demographics and ethnic groups. So, we need to identify, these, there'll be senior citizens in any of these battleground states. The percentage may be varying between senior citizens, single moms, youth, and executives. So for all these 10 different categories, government, whoever is trying to win this election must have a clear understanding and a clear policy on these battleground states and offer them, let's say today they are doing, half a 500 billion as their GDP for the state. That has to grow by at least 10% or 8% every year, So they should have that kind of, thing for these battleground states, and that in turn will create more jobs, attract more investments, attract global attention, and it's an ecosystem. You are building more hotels, more restaurants, more around any kind of sports arena. You have 10 different businesses created around it, and ultimately all these things have to add up into taxes and pay the national debt. We need to create more income for the state government and the federal income tax, and taxes for payroll. All this should add up to pay off our national debt, along with the interest. That means we need to have a minimum annually a 2.5 trillion, to pay off then towards national debt, so that in less than 25 years we can eliminate it. So this is, again, the battleground states are the starting point. It's not the end point. Once you make a prototype in one state and copy across all these 7 states, then it will take at least 4 years. So by the next term, you add more states to this same blueprint, same mechanism. When all the 50 states have that kind of a ecosystem, which one motive to make America great again, with
Just
one.
on that point right there, if I may, Ananda, here you have Mayor Adams in New York telling Kamala Harris, walk and talk like a cop. Make sure they feel good with what you're saying, baby. And at the same, and here you are talking about policies, positions, and solutions. And if Donald Trump and a Republican Congress, a Senate and a House, hopefully, work with him, these issues that have been cancers that have developed over 10 years and the whole George Soros regime fall by the wayside, Donald Trump and a Republican Congress will get done in 2 weeks what's taken 20 years to accomplish in that mess we have now. That's what's concerning me about the battleground states. Do we go in there? And I think we just give them solutions. Kamala's making them feel good, but as long as Donald Trump talks about true solutions and the issues that the American public wants to hear about, inflation, the economy in general, gas prices, our national debt, our national security, the border, if he just stays on those top 20 issues that you've talked about, I think he wins.
Exactly. And then, see, the thing is, policies and then feelings. The current speeches that Trump is doing in all these battleground state has to change more than 50%, not 10%, 20%. Again, he has in the current level, it's good until the convention, which has already happened in the mid-July. He won that. Now he need to come to the center stage to become the president of a country and be a leader for the world, not just one party, correct? So again, it doesn't mean that you have to change your position on various things, but it's more of adding more issues, more solutions, more budget, more incentives. It's not like whatever he has done for the party or the supporters, that will still be the foundation. On top of the foundation, now you're adding the issues of these 7 states, especially the demographics. And any demographics, you'll have these 10 kinds of people. You have youth who are the first time voters and who are the second time voters from 22 to 25. And there is a single moms, there is a senior citizens, there is a business owners, small business owners, and there is a large business or multinationals. So all these 10 categories should feel that they are contributing, give the credit to them, these 10 categories. You are the leader, you have the vision and you have the mission. You just focus on the mission and vision and praise all these 10 category people, praise including your opponent, even though they messed up last 3.5 years, talking about the mess ups, it won't solve anything. So when you say they have done this wrong, and next line should be, I'm going to fix with this. I know they'll copy your ideas. That's okay. Let them. They already copied the half of the ideas what he is told in the rallies. They copied the tips. They copied, talking about, creating more jobs, talking about more, less. The thing is that people copy. That's a human nature, but that's okay. But
yeah, in 30 seconds, so before we wrap up this episode, give us your summary in 30 seconds of your take on these battleground issues and what Donald Trump needs to do to win in those battleground states.
The 3-point agenda is, number one is election integrity. Make sure you have enough poll watchers at every booth who are checking the IDs, because anybody who do not have a citizenship, because driver license or any kind of a state ID is not the proof of citizenship. So you verify that. That's a minimum requirement. And then the second one is understand the demographics and address the issues with a solution and minimize any kind of attacks. Again, you are a legendary. He's a legendary. He's a God-chosen warrior, according to me. Because after July 12th or 13th, he has got the status. He doesn't need to attack anybody. He just need to be calm, and he has a 4 years great time in the White House. So you need to tell that 40 things he's going to do for each of the states. And then the last but not least, appreciate the election officials who are involved in the process. And that's it. These 3 things, if you address the issues of all these 10 category or tell demographics people, you address the election integrity issues, that way there should not be doubt. And win or lose, accept the solution. I know people cheat, as long as the majority are not cheating for the sake of country and for the sake of their own family, for the sake of our own children and grandchildren, that's the only thing he should, and create the feeling for all the voters that, man, I'm ready to vote for Donald Trump, even though I'm a blind Democrat for 20 years or 30 years or 50 years. What Trump has done to my state or going to my family and myself, he appreciated. Taking the name of each group, ethnic group. Indian Americans, for Indian Americans, I'm doing these 3 things. Asian Americans, African Americans, Spanish Americans, and call them out, Italian Americans, and call them out, all the 10 ethnic groups, and appreciate them for their contribution, and tell them what you're going to do for each of the group. And even the majority adults, 70% of the people drink. Let them drink. That's their personal choice. But create some support system for no drunk driving. That's a thing he has to differentiate. He himself, if you look at the fundamental difference is, he's a person of integrity who never had 1 glass of alcohol in his lifetime. So that means any policy he does, he will make sure it is good for the country and make sure it is good for the citizens. Whereas other side, I cannot say that for other side. When they
Yeah.
drink, when they party, when they do policy decision, nobody knows. That's the only reason I see that's a big difference between one party to another. Otherwise, why would you go out of your way and put billions and trillions damage into other countries and try to do something or nothing here for the legal citizens, you know?
Nanda Baghi, thank you for joining me on these episodes. We've had a discussion in detail on so many of these different episodes, and you've been very enlightening. An entrepreneur, folks, a businessman who's done very well as an immigrant in the United States, but very much as an American citizen and someone we should espouse and who espouses good standards and is something we should learn from. Nanda Baghi, thank you for joining us on these episodes on Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast. We've got to do it again, but we're just so out of time. What I would like to tell the folks, Nanda, if the folks want to reach you, is there a website? Do you want to send them in certain directions so they can reach you?
Sure, definitely. They can reach me on my personal email, at nandabagi@gmail.com, or my business email, nanda@bhv.com. And again, I'm on all kinds of social media channels, Twitter or X now, and Facebook. So again, they can reach through you. They can drop a note. I'll my best. Again, I survived not one, not two. I've survived 7 incidents or life incidents in my life, including 9/11. So I want to dedicate every minute, every day of my life, which can save lives and improve the lifestyles of people who are associated to me. So those are my goals. And again, I have bad days, good days, but my commitment is always make sure whatever the situation is, be positive. When you think positive, then you radiate that vibration to the people around you, and do something small which is valuable for people around you, and then deliver. Have a timeline, and that's how I was trained by all these big 4, big 5 consulting companies. We have a time to deliver something. We want to be under the budget. We need to go above and beyond our client expectations. So
Nanda,
anything I do, these.
Yeah, you're doing big things in small ways, and we're out of time right now, but I can't thank you enough for all of what you've contributed to us here on Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast. You will be invited back, and we're going to probably take future episodes with Nanda and focus on one topic at a time. Especially as we approach November's election, Nanda will be and has been in close touch with President Donald Trump. And I hope and pray that Donald Trump looks for more people like Nanda with strong economic principles and a foundation of social political principles that are well founded, not in personalities, but in principles. That's Nanda Baghi. And he's been with us today on Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast. See you again soon.
Thanks for joining us for Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and God bless America.